Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast on a Thursday, July the 25th. I'm your host, Sean Higgs. We are powered, as always, by GamblersWorld.net, where you can find me and the Chipper, 9 other handicappers for you for the premium stuff. And Chip's on a nice run. I'm on a nice run. We have leaderboard there. As always, you see at the top of the screen here. 3 738 packages guaranteed, which means if we don't show you a profit, you get a credit back, and then you could jump on somebody else. But when you're on hot runs, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Be sure to hit the like button here. Like button's important. Notification bell's important. The Twitter feed, if you're on the X, I'll always call it Twitter. I just don't understand the whole X name. I don't get it. Like, how do you X something out? You mean you're crossing something out? It's a tweet. It's so much better. We're on Twitter, all of us. And yes, like button. We want to get over that. We're hovering at the 14,000 person mark. Let's go. We got to get back over that. But we're going to be talking some baseball today. We got the Chipper with us. Chip, by the way, yesterday, Yankees went down. But the show, listen, we went 3-0 on Monday, had a winner on Tuesday, 1-1 yesterday, 5-1 for the week on the channel, plus 480 on a, basically on a $100 bet. So not too bad, folks. Who doesn't want to go 5-1? And we had a couple dogs in there too, right? Chipper had the Reds the other day. I had a plus 120 dog and a Marlins, I believe. Was that? Let me flip back to the page. Yes, Marlins yesterday against Baltimore. So free picks are rolling. Let's speak of free picks from Doc Sports. Our guy Doug Upstone with us today. Doug, how you been?
I have been well, Sean. It's been a good start to the week at 4-2. So happy with the baseball results. Had an easy actually 5-unit best bet winner with the Texas Rangers. So the offense finally woke up, and the White Sox bullpen did their usual stuff. They only gave up 9 runs yesterday. So that worked out pretty well. So yeah, so with that, I had a sweep yesterday. That's my 16th baseball sweep in the last 18 weeks of 2-0 or better. So that has been going very strongly. And actually, I have a play this afternoon, just one play this afternoon. That's available at the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports at Doc Sports. So yes, we got that, and hey, here we go. Got some CFL action coming your way too. I don't want any Ross response out of you, but just go along with me on it. All right?
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna pass that CFL, but I'll agree with you with having like one game today. It's a light schedule. It is what it is. You kind of days like this, you don't have to run to force things. And you mentioned Texas. I had a couple of Ruby props in that game. But this is just a weird kind of time. You get the off days, not off days, but it's an off day of 7 or 8 games or 6 games and stuff like that. Days like this, I kind of tend to avoid anyway because you have the day game after night game. You have early afternoon games. Here come the B lineups where guys are sitting. So totally agree having a light card. Chip, speaking of cards, your card has been on fire lately. I'm surprised you could even read it. Not a bad run from old Chip. I had written down here that you are, and I thought I was doing pretty good. I'm not even close to you. You're number one the last 30 days, last 60 days, absolutely on fire. Go ahead.
Well,
sell yourself, Chipper.
Okay, we just love baseball. You know that. Yesterday, I had one of our few laughers, as you actually get. San Diego was our megabuck play. They went 12-3. And today, have an afternoon game and an evening game. No megabucks played, but the power plays are 10-2 in the last 12. And like you said, overall, we've just been running the gambit right here and just loving baseball each and every day. The games just seem to be popping up at us, and have more in store today. And looking forward to even giving out a free game right here.
12-3. I can't even give you respect for that. Why weren't you on Colorado winning 20-7?
Well,
come on, you got to do better than that. 12 runs on the road. Can you do better, please?
Well, who expected that kind of a game out of them? But
those are rookie numbers.
They won. And when you said yesterday that you don't play the Yankees because of the run line, shouldn't play the Yankees at all with what we're seeing right now. And that, of course, was our free play loss yesterday, our only one of the week. But I apologize. And when you brought it up, Sean, that number was high and it is going to wreck our record. And, being obstinate and figuring out the Yankees can't lose 5 in a row to the Mets, can they? At Yankee Stadium, Cole got off to a lead. And he got bombed. They just the Mets are pretty hot right now. They look like one of the hottest clubs in baseball.
They are hot, and speaking of Mets, we're going to jump right into Doug here because he's got the Mets and the Braves here. It's basically a minus 105 going both ways in this kind of game here. Total 7.5. Sale and Severino, so it should be a good pitcher matchup.
Yeah.
But two teams in different directions here. The Mets, we talked about them yesterday. What are they now? 31-15.
Yep.
A 31-15 run. Yep. And the Braves are slipping. They dropped 7-10. We talked about the Yankees not hitting. The Braves are still 55 and like 37 to the under. The pitching. Imagine if they weren't getting great pitching from Sale and Lopez, wherever this team would be. Holy cow! I mean, but let's go. Hot Mets, cold Braves. Chris Sale rejuvenated after a couple injury-plagued seasons.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that, we got huge implications for these two teams being played in the, as I like to say, the cement jungle, okay, of New York. And so with that, these are the top two teams currently for the wild card. And the Braves are ahead by 2 games in the loss column. So they're going to play a 4-game series. So if the Mets win 3 out of 4, okay, then they're tied, okay, with them in the loss column. And then here we go with 2 months to go. Now, you mentioned the Braves not scoring runs. This team since May 11th is 30-34, and they have scored the third fewest runs in the National League in that time frame. You mentioned Chris Sale. It's kind of fortunate potentially for Atlanta that he's actually pitching today because they had 2 rainouts and he was supposed to pitch in both of those games. The one rainout was made up and he was put to the night game, which was canceled last night. So they get to use him. Only problem though, potentially first start in 11 days. Okay, that kind of makes it a little dicey, I think, on this one. And on May 29th, the Mets were 22-33, okay, and looked like another underachieving year for the Mets. Well, guess what? Since then, as Sean just mentioned, 31-15, best record in baseball, and they have also scored the most runs in baseball in that time frame. So the offense is red hot. Severino having a nice year, 7-3, 3.58 ERA, and at home he's been even better. His ERA is 2.82. And in his last 6 starts, the Mets have won 4 of them, and the 2 that they lost were their own fault because Severino gave them leads. They blew it, and the leads, and they ended up losing both those games in extra innings. So conceivably, they could be 6-0 in those games. For me, the Mets right now are the better team in this one. They just swept the Yankees at Yankee Stadium for the season, which, by the way, was the first time they have done that in 11 years. Give me the Mets minus 105 over the Braves to open their series in New York.
Here we go. So the Mets, Doug's official play here, minus 105. And like I say, Sevy, I like Sevy. I like him with the Yankees. The problem is the guy doesn't get healthy. He's always had kind of a bang-up year. Every once in a while, hits the injured list. This year on the road, he's been a little questionable. You mentioned Sale, and yeah, the 11 days. Is that too much rest for the old-timer there? It's kind of nice. You got the aspect of where instead of coming off a doubleheader or an extended bullpen, stuff like that, now you kind of got not a rested Braves team, but a normal kind of a rest team where you got the Mets are off a huge series versus the Yanks. I mean, maybe a little slight edge there, not psychologically, but maybe not because they're losing. At least the Mets are winning. I don't know. Chipper, what do you think about this one? Go ahead, Doug. Go ahead.
One thing I'll just say about Sale is the other thing, too, that's different about this one. He was supposed to pitch the second game yesterday. Normally, a starting pitcher travels ahead of the team. Okay, if he's going to do that, obviously could not do that yesterday. So he had to travel with the team in order to get here. So not the usual rest that a starting pitcher gets. I digress.
Oh, that poor veteran. He'll never recover from that.
He might. Okay, no, but I'm just saying it's just. I'm not saying it's the end all, the be all, but just.
No, I'm just teasing, Doug.
And you know that about baseball players, anybody that plays sports is routines.
And that's also comes to the fact that the day before, did he go throughout some warm-ups? Did he throw the ball around the night before? Where is they throwing around? Like, I wasn't watching the game yesterday. Was it raining during the first game? And they're probably like, you know what, we're not playing today. We're going to play. Was he just getting into the session of throwing whatever his routine is for 2 straight games now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Chip, what do you think? I'm like you. I'm like, poor baby. Chris Sale's been pitching for 10 years. I think he'll be all right. It's not really going to affect him as much as somebody else.
He'll be fine. He's been great all year. Which is, New York baseball, according to Jerry Seinfeld, has become even Steven this year. I mean, here we have the Mets, who are now the hottest team in baseball, and the Yankees are plunging after starting off, like we said, 51-20. It's amazing here. The Mets are plus over $350 wise for the year, and Atlanta minus $1,400. Now, this pitching matchup, guys, is it's really interesting because Chris Sale and Luis Severino have had the doldrums the last 4 years, 5 years, each of them. Sale this year has been absolutely great. He's been fabulous, but Sale had only 17 wins and 18 losses over the last 5 years. And Severino was, I think, 16 and 15 over the last 5 years. So these are great comeback years for these pitchers. They're showing their stuff. Severino, of course, was with the Yankees and won 19 games 5 years ago. Chris Sale, I mean, how can you argue with this guy? I mean, he is healthy again. The poor Red Sox put so much money invested in him, and he just never got to the mound. He was always hurt. But 13-3 this year, 2.7 ERA. The Mets, like you said, have been scoring more runs than just about anybody out there. But against Sale and with Severino on the mound here, these two aces this year are aces. And after 5 years of them both being in the back burner, I look for the game to stay under the total. And the Mets coming off that sweep of the Yankees, they got to be sky high. But these pitchers have been so effective. Severino, 109 innings, has only given up 90 hits, and Sale's even better. 110 innings, only given up 81 hits. And I know you guys like to deal with the whip, and that's important too with these guys. And I think this game stays under the total. But we need both of these pitchers to go as far as they can into the game. Let them each pitch at least 7 innings, and I think we'll have a good shot at staying under the total.
Agreed. So under there for Chip's opinion on it. Doug, official play today. New York Mets minus the 105. I'm going to be rolling out props on both of these games in a second, so I'll wait till the end here to come in with my prop play on this one. But sorry for this game, folks. Maybe we should a little disclaimer here. It's A's and Angels. Although the A's have been playing better lately, they're rocking up some wins here. Nice little. I think both of these teams have won 7 of 10, believe it or not. But A's and Angels, a Ross Stripling sighting. Not our old guy Ross, no relation to Ross, the old Ross, hasn't pitched since May. Maybe with him being gone, with his giant bloated 5.82 ERA, the guy was 1-9. Holy cow! Maybe him leaving was part of them turning the corner and getting some wins. Versus Kenny Rosenberg, he's got a couple. I don't want to say their starts. He came in relief, but 4 and 6 innings. The Angels, I mean, we're shocked they still have Tyler. Why isn't Tyler Anderson on the LA Dodgers? I'll never know, but I'm sure they'll be selling soon enough. But you got it's an ugly one. It's 2 night games, folks. What are we going to do here? The Angels favored with Mr. Rosenberg, minus 110, total of 9.5. A's a little plus 101 on the other side there. 9:38 p.m. They can't do nothing right in LA. I mean, they can't just go at 9:40 or 9:38, not 9:30, 9:38, folks. Please, comments. I need to know. Any Angels season ticket holders, why 9:38 p.m.? That's the thing. I like the old school Angels side. I do. I'm an old California Angel guy. Give me some like mid 80s Angels. Nice logo. Not that the new stuff. Forget it. Although I did like Tim Salmon back in the day. All right, Chipper. Where do you go ahead? I'm sorry. We could talk about Wally Joyner and Tim Salmon and Troy Glaus and those guys if we want to, but
the Angels seem to consider Mike Trout the best player they've ever had, and I think it's more of a salmon than a trout, to tell you the truth. And Trout now he's quit his rehab, and I think the Angels are buoyed by the idea that they don't have to have him dragging them down anymore. They are 12 games under 500. They've been very disappointing for a number of years and eons. They just don't seem to get there. And, these 2 pitchers starting today have been absolutely horrendous. Well, Rosenberg, a limited experience, 6.3 ERA. But how about this Stripling? Now, first, before I get there, hey, guys, what happens to the pitchers when the Dodgers jettison them and get rid of them? I mean, it just seems like their careers are over. I mean, Jansen goes to the Red Sox. He can't get anybody out. Stripling, 1-9. He was with the Dodgers 1 year. He won 16, 17 games. Giving up 77 hits in 55 innings. I think these 2 teams Oakland has shown that they can score. And I think it's going to go over the total. And that's the way I look at it. The A's have been horrible on the road. They're 21 games under 500 on the road. And the Angels only 7 games under 500. So like you said, this is an ugly matchup between 2 West Coast teams. And I can't see. I see these teams scoring runs against these Cubs. The Angels just broke a 5-game losing streak that they had to the A's. They come up with a big win. Um, Still, Oakland with tripling, he's 1-4 in his last 5 starts with an ERA over 7. I just can't see anything good happening with him on the mound. I expect plenty of runs to be scored on both sides here. I'll play this over the total right now.
I'm going to say I automatically you look at that. It was 9 yesterday, 9.5. You think, why not over at these two teams? And then you know, this guy, Roger, he faced the A's and gave up 1 run in 4 innings versus them, just on the 20th.
Right.
But is that, you know, when I see stuff like that out of just a random kind of guy, is that just a random one-off? Because a lot of times a guy would come in and dominate a team, and then the next game the team gets him, right? Or he gets shelled in the next game, he goes 7+ and strikes out 9 guys. But I look at this as I got 2 kind of subpar teams. Why not generate runs, right? You're going to come out there. We're stat padding, right? For these guys here, it's all about their own stats. Maybe we'll get traded somewhere else. I like the over there. Doug, what do you think? You're going to make it a trifecta on this overplay here?
I'll get there in just a second on that one. Hey, but, you know, here's the thing. Looking at these two teams, you know, we could actually see some fireworks on the field, okay, in this one. Because odd schedule for these teams. This weekend will end their season series, and they will have played by Sunday. They will have played 13 times in the last 30 days, and that's if you discount the All-Star break. Okay, so they have been facing each other regularly, including last weekend. Yeah. And the home team has won 8 out of the last 9. In fact, Oakland should have won last Sunday. They had a 5-2 lead in the 8th inning and gave up 6 runs, I believe it was. Yeah. On bizarre circumstances of walks, hit batters, errors, the works. So that was a weird deal here. But boy, you guys have both hit it on the head. The starting pitching thing here really seems to be a problem for both teams. Both offenses the Oakland offense has been really good, hitting all the home runs that they have. I think they're up to 4th now in Major League Baseball in home runs. Angels have been better offensively. The total of 9.5, by the way, is the highest of the 10 games they will have played going into today. I think both starters are really weak. Angels bullpen is number 27, which I think will be the reason that this game goes over. And I agree with you guys.
6 of those 10 would have went over this 9.5. And yep. if you don't want to do that, you can look at maybe doing team totals for either of these guys, right? Probably around 4.5, 5s, because even in the games that didn't go over, the A's are scoring 5. Then the Angels, when they were winning back at the end of June, scoring 5 themselves. So somebody's going to put up a 5 spot here. You know, chances are the other team's going to get 4 minimum. I mean, you're right there at the number before the bullpens come in, I think. I mean, really, I think this is like a 4-4 game in the 5th inning with these two guys on the hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know. That's my thought. And that's why I'll start on this Oakland game and why I like a player prop in this one. So we got 2 games here, right? So I'm going to go a little prop side of games. Miguel Andujar, I'm going to look at over 1.5 hits, run, ribbies. That's what the HRR are for a hit, run, and ribby. It is a 1.5. It is plus 105. And, you know, the last 6 games, I'm no mathematician. But if he has 12 hits in 6 games, I think just the hits alone gets him over this. You know, he's averaging 2 hits a game. But when he gets a couple runs scored, 5 ribbies on top of it, 3 doubles, a home run involved in those, the hit and run ribbies, I like it. I'm going to get a 105. In those games, he's hitting a robust 444. I was actually looking for a Butler, so I could come in here and say the Butler did it for Oakland, because that kid's been unbelievable for them lately. Nobody had him. FanDuel and DK did not have any hits, runs, ribbies post for this guy. But if you find him, this is a little bonus play for you in this game. Are you kidding me? 591 batting average lately. His last 7 games, 13 hits, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. So if you find him, take a wild stab on that guy as well. Sometimes, you know, they're not up for whatever reason. They don't know what the lineups are going to be. And Atlanta Brave will go to the Doug game of Mets and Braves. He likes the Mets. I'm going to look at Marcell Ozuna here. His hit, run, and ribby prop over 1.5. I'm going to say these numbers. A 306 batting average, 61 runs, 114 hits, 28 homers, and 80 RBI. I say those because he is number one in every one of those categories across the board here for the Atlanta Braves. He's hitting 306. This is a season back in, for somebody. Not right. 28 homers, 80 RBIs. That is like a quasi Barry Bonds season when he walks 280 times in a season, has 280 at bats. That year is almost a Mike Trout MVP year when he plays 115 games. He's having a great year. So if the Braves are going to do anything today, and I think they'll probably do something. And I don't need a home run. I need a hit and a run ribby. Someone will get on base. He might knock him in. I think minus 120. I'm going to take a shot on the best player on the team at minus 120. He's good he could go 2 for 4 himself. Forget about making a run or a ribby out of it. So those are my 2 props. It's a prop day for me. Ozuna minus 120. Andujar plus 105 in his hit run ribbies. I know you guys are not. I don't think you do a lot of hit run ribbies or strikeouts. Doug, kind of the prop guy. What do you think of my props here?
I like them both. I like the fact Ozuna has surpassed that total in 9 of his last 12 games, and Andujar 5 of his last 6. So you looked up the numbers, everything bears it out. So I think you're right on it for both of these guys today.
And Sean, with all of us thinking that Oakland game is going to go over the total, Andujar fits right into to playing that prop.
And it's funny because I was doing these props this morning. I'm looking at the numbers, and of course the Mets a little better pitchers. They have the numbers a little lighter, right? They're minus 120, stuff like this, a little harder to do. The Oakland A's and the Angels game. Now, you can look at these batting averages of these guys. These guys are not lighting the world on fire in the age of guys hitting 220. All of their all these props for over 1.5 the hit run ribbies, they're all like in the 135, 145 range, 125, 135.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give me a plus 105 on a guy who's actually I guess he's a journeyman now because he had a great year with the Yankees, and the Yankees said, "Oh, we don't want you anymore. We're going to go try to sign somebody else," and then he falls into the pits. Andujar was a decent kind of talent. You're going to give me a plus 105? I don't need Logan O'Hop minus 145, hitting like 205. I'm going to take a guy who's hitting 440 the last 5 games. What are we doing here? Take the free money, as they say. Oh, I shouldn't say that because that is not what the show's about. We don't ever say crazy things like that. But you're going to be a plus 105 on a guy hitting 440 with 12 hits in 6 games? Yeah, sure. We'll take that. And, yeah, I'm on a nice run myself. Jim posted to the back. Why even post it? Because it's nothing as good as that is. I'm second fiddle. Like 70% doesn't get me close to Chip. So,
hey, but you could be like Hurts. We're number
Hurts
2.
to Avis.
We try harder.
We try harder. We're just number 2.
Right. There you go. See, it's always the incentive.
Listen, I don't mind being 2 because it's like the prince to the king. Like everybody's like, oh, I want to be a king. Well, no, people want to kill the king. Nobody's trying to kill the prince. The prince just goes along, having a nice life, living like a king, but he's just a prince.
Sean, Avis is still making money, so you don't have to worry about it. I mean, as long as we're turning a profit, everything's fine, right? I mean, this is what we're here for.
As long as OJ's not doing our sponsorship.
Well, by the way, guys, I mentioned to you yesterday how Bob Lemon on July 24th in 1938 had hit 2 home runs as a starting pitcher, right? Now I'm back 40 years later on this date. He was named the Yankee manager in 1978 after Billy Martin had called, he called Steinbrenner a criminal and right, a felon. He called him a felon, and he called Reggie Jackson a liar. But on this date, there were some other interesting things that happened in baseball. In 1961, guys, I was 12 years old, and I watched a Yankee doubleheader as Roger Maris hit his 37th and 38th home run in the first game, his 39th and 40th in 1961 in the second game, ended up with 61 home runs for the year, and he hit it off 4 different White Sox pitchers. But the greatest thing about this date is something you probably never see again because we've only seen it once in Major League Baseball history. In 1956, Roberto Clemente, you remember him? He ended his career with a flat 3,000 hits, hit the first walk-off grand slam home run in baseball history. The only walk-off home run in baseball history that was an inside-the-park home run at Forbes Field. Won't see that anymore because the dimensions of baseball fields have been changed dramatically. There's no more 460 feet center fields. They're all 410. The baseball's homogenized down the lines. It'd take an oddity for somebody to hit inside the park home run nowadays, where it used to be one of the most exciting things in baseball. Triples are gone too, as well as we know. But also in the state in 1990, Roseanne Barr became very famous by singing the national anthem in San Diego. And of course, that was atrocious. And
Not as bad as this last one, though.
kind of surprising. Kind of surprising. She was trying to make it humorous, and people didn't think it was so funny to sing the national anthem the way she did.
The 4 home runs off 4 different pitchers in a doubleheader.
Right.
That is something.
I remember I was, it was in black and white then in our TV, I was only 12, and watching the Yankees that year was really something because it was the expansion year, and Mantle was also fighting with Maris for the lead in home runs, and Mantle was actually at 54, I believe it was, and he lost the entire month of September and didn't even play in the World Series, and he possibly could have surpassed Maris that year as well.
Mantle was pretty good, I heard.
Yeah. The Commerce Comet. He was one of the fastest guys in sports until that tragic knee injury he suffered. And I wasn't even a Mantle fan.
Really? How can you be a Mantle fan?
Because you're a Willie Mays guy in New York. I mean,
I
that's
got
the way it is.
I was saying, if you're a Yankee fan, that's why I was like, you got to like Mantle.
I grew into the Yankees when I had moved into Manhattan, and Jeter becomes just to me one of the guys that you can't root against. And going to Yankee Stadium and rooting against them in those years was foolish. So I just made the transition,
I was upset when they traded Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill. I was like, why are we trading a guy who hits 285? What are we doing bringing up Paul O'Neill here? What's happening?
Oh, O'Neill is one of their favorites and still broadcaster with them.
I was wrong on that one. Paul O'Neill was pretty good. And then we're going to get off on a little tangent and we'll wrap up the show. I remember they brought in Mike Stanley from Texas to be the catcher. I'm like, Mike. And whoever it was, whether it was Showalter or Stick Weiss, was like, well, we did a thing on his home runs in Texas, and he'd have like 11 more playing here at Yankee Stadium than he did. And sure enough, comes the Yankees, he had like 27 homers, like ridiculous numbers for the Yanks. Mike Stanley. I remember a Stanley is Granley call by John Sterling. Oh, Stanley's great. Yeah, he was great back in the 90s.
He had to retire. He had to retire this year. It was just getting to be too much for him.
Yeah, come on, man. The guy was like 90. I see clips on Twitter. They roll him out doing Atlanta Brave games in like 1983.
Yeah. I know. I know. They loved him in New York, though. I mean, as corny as he was. I mean,
he was hilarious.
Yeah, he really was.
Again, I'll do that whenever you guys don't want to show up one day. I'll just do Sterling mannerisms on a random Tuesday for everybody.
I'd love
it. All right, let's recap here. Listen, head on over to gamblersworld.net for the premium stuff, right? We give out the free picks every day, 5 days a week, I should say. It's not every day. It's 5 days a week. But on gamblersworld.net, you can still find free picks. A lot of free pick videos or free picks posted there from we load in our premium content. Doug is always over at docsports.com. All of us are on Twitter, the 3 of us, plus gamblersworld.net. Give the Twitter X World a try. Like buttons, please. We got to get the numbers up. But we're, again, dilly-dallying around 14,000. Let's push through that glass ceiling and get over it for football season. Doug will be taking the New York Mets minus 105 today. Chip is on the over A's and Angels game. I got a couple player props in each. Ozuna for the Braves over his hit-run ribbies. He's minus 120. Andujar for the Oakland Athletics over 1.5 hit-run ribbies. He's plus 105. So they will be counted towards our record here, which is 5-1 this week plus 480. So I'm keeping track because why not keep track? I got nothing else to do. I can do the show, write them down. We'll keep track of them. Those are your 3 picks for a Thursday. Back Friday, me and Chipper. Doug, you have a nice weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Chip, I will see you tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. your time. It's 10:30 Eastern. Me and you'll be recording.
I won't miss it. I'll stay up all night.
That's for the world to see. I'm giving you a heads up right here on the tape for everybody knows when we record on Fridays. So don't call us on the phone, anybody. No spam calls. All right, we're out of here. Have a good one. Back tomorrow. Take care, everybody.